Hey there, it's another Friday, which means it's another time for a Friday fun topic. And today, um, I know a lot of us, as a way to relax and unwind, we're spending a lot of time in front of screens. I've spent a lot more time in front of screens, both my phone and computer or TV screen. A lot of people are catching up on TV shows or finding new shows to watch. Um, but I I really hope that all of us can find fun that's not in front of the screen. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about today. Today, I want to address a lot of the fun that is a lot more relaxing. Hopefully, a lot of you guys are trying to be active, get outside when you can. But this is just relaxing time, not in front of a screen. I know my wife loves crocheting. She has been doing a good amount of crocheting. My mom is going to be picking up knitting again. That was something she used to do just to relax and pass the time. I know a lot of people who love to quilt, and that's another wonderful thing. A lot of these kind of more work with your hand hobbies. Maybe it's coloring book, different puzzle books. I would encourage you to take some time to get to really enjoy doing those. But for me, there's one hobby that I have where I'm going to get away from screens and relax, and that's reading. I love books. I posted a April Fool's joke on Facebook just saying I was getting rid of books, and um, I know it's not crazy huge prank or anything. It was just a brief little kind of like, isn't that strange thing? Because I love books. I love buying books. I love having all of the books that I have the access to so much information. I love all different types of books. Um, I just finished reading a bunch of Star Wars books. They were a lot of fun. And that was all that I read them for, was just have some fun. I love reading classic novels uh, that they tell stories that have transcended their time. That's why they're considered classics. And I know they're not initially the most fun. I know having to read them in school wasn't always the most enjoyable, but these are stories that have withstood the test of time. We pick up a book, kind of like the Star Wars books, but even others like John Grisham, just these quick, popular books that sell a dime a dozen today, and they're a lot of fun, but no one's calling them classics because that's all they are, is a little bit of fun. But classics are books that have been so good they transcend time, and it's really wonderful to get into some of them. Some of them are harder to read. Some of them are so worth it. They're so enjoyable. Um, some of them are very different. Um, cracking open some of these books, you're just in a story you never imagined being in. Um, but that's the great thing about getting to read. Um, I love reading histories, especially looking at uh, World War II and the Civil War. Just opening up to these stories that are true, uh, are it can be very educational. A lot of times, there's a lot that you can learn from history. It can give you a new perspective on the world that we're in. Sometimes looking at the way that certain events in history happened and how they were addressed gives us ideas for how to address our current time. Um, I really love reading histories. Um, I love reading most types of Christian books, whether it's just a book about how to live better as a Christian, Bible study books. I love theology books. They just are very helpful to me in my attempts to grow closer to God. So I did just finish a number of Star Wars books, but the book that I finished before I took the little break to get into those, was called Hope Heals by Jay and Catherine Wolfe, and it was in a way, a memoir. As Catherine Wolfe, she'd had a brainstem stroke when she was really young. I think she was like 25. Her husband Jay was getting ready to graduate from law school. They just had their first kid, and both of them were Christians, and both of them had to wrestle with, well, why did this happen at all? And why didn't she instantly get healed? Like it took her a long time to return to any sense of normalcy, and healing didn't look like her being returned physically to where she was at before it happened. There have been long-term changes to their life because of this, but both of them said that they found newfound hope and a newfound strength in their faith and more love in their hearts because of the things that they went through. It's a super inspiring book. And now I'm getting ready to read a book that's been on my list for a long time. I've really wanted to read this book for a good while, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. It's called The Road Back to You, and it's a Christian look at the Enneagram by, I believe his name's Ian Morgan Cron, or Ian Morgan Crone, and I've been interested in the Enneagram as a personality test and how it can help with growing spiritually, and so I'm really excited to get to read that. It's not going to be a very long read. It's not a very hard read, but that's kind of one of the things I'm doing, especially on a day like today where it's nice outside right now. We've got a bit of cloud cover, but it's pretty warm out. I like to go onto our little covered porch and maybe have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit out there with a book in the quiet, with hearing maybe the birds in the background, a car every now and then driving by, and just getting to rest and not be in front of a screen and not constantly have information bombarded at me, but take in information as I want to. It's very relaxing to me, and during this time, I think we need those things. Maybe for you, it's the kind of knitting, crocheting, quilting, sewing. Maybe for you, it's woodworking. You're gonna build something with your hands. Maybe you're gonna nap. I mean, that's definitely something it's important to do. Maybe you're gonna do some type of low stress physical exercise. There are lots of at-home workouts, types of yoga that you would be able to do. Maybe you're going to color or draw, or whatever it is. I would really encourage you spend some time away from some screens. So yes, I am saying, please, after this video, shut off your phone. Even at this point, if you don't want to finish watching this video, don't. Get away from screens. Take some time to relax. Take some time to rest. And that's my Friday fun for today. So in a little bit, I'm probably going to be cracking open a book and reading it. And I hope that you find some very restful ways to have some fun today as well. Thank you for joining me.